and you can let your head down. 'Cause you worked all day, and you've been going through things. Yeah, you deserve a break. So let's stop for a little, put love in the middle, and I just got paid. So put that bag away, 'cause it's all on me. Let's stop for a little, put love in the middle, babe.
Thank you so much for taking your time to speak with Urban Bridges once again. We have spoken before, so it's a pleasure to have an opportunity to speak with you once again.
Hey, pleasure's mine, for
So
sure.
we can go ahead and jump right into it. First of all, Love in the Middle is such a mellow vibe. Where did the inspiration come from?
To be honest, I was in Nashville, Tennessee, working with Chuck Harmony and Claude Kelly, and we were coming up with chords and melodies, and I told them like what I what I think I represent as it pertains to musically in my audience, and I represent the blue collar lover. So that means, every single person that, wakes up and has that 9 to 5, the teachers, the nurses, the post office workers, UPS workers, Walmart workers, everybody under the sun that gets up and get it. I felt like they were being underserved and overlooked as it pertains to R&B and the current state of it. And so I was like, I want a record that speaks directly to them. And, for them to kind of slow down their hustle and bustle and put love in the middle of whatever they're passionate about. So whether that's, towards their significant other, whether that's towards, just spare time of creativity or family. And so, yeah, that's where the inspiration came from, is from the audience.
Awesome. Now, you spoke about Chuck Harmony and Claude Kelly. How was that experience working with them?
Oh, it was great. It was great. We did kind of like a radio blitz maybe a couple of months prior. And so that was their first time actually seeing me perform. We had heard of each other and we had crossed paths. But I think that once they kind of seen me perform, they were like, okay, we got to work with him. We know what we can do with his voice and with his energy on stage. And so literally, maybe a few months later, I was in Nashville and we started working. And so all of our birthdays are in December. I'm December 8th. I think Chuck is December 18th and Claude is December 28th. So I was like, yeah, we the crazy eights. And, we just kind of really built a nice synergy. And it was really fun. Really, really fun.
That's what's up. Now, Love Uptempo is coming in March. Tell everybody, what can we expect?
Love Uptempo coming March 28th. It is a 5-song EP. And the question that I always raise to people is, what pace are you living your life at? And whatever pace that is, set the pace of your own race, because it's a race of the most endured. And so I wanted to build a soundtrack and a project that was dedicated towards it. And so I feel like it feels great. It helped me to explore, more mid and up tempos within my R&B catalog. And so I'm excited to, kind of put that out into the universe.
What's your favorite song on the EP?
Oh, that's like naming my if I had multiple children, that's not fair. But I would say this though, because the only record that's out is Love in the Middle. Right now, it's just Love in the Middle. So yeah.
Now, you're the first ever independent artist, to simultaneously break 2 singles in the top 20 in Billboard. Outside of the success, what has been the biggest challenge in being an indie artist, and how do you deal with that?
Well, yes, thank you so much for acknowledging that. Yes, I am the only independent R&B artist to have 2 records, in the top 20 or in the top 10, one of those. But no, that feels great. The challenges of being an independent artist is making sure that you have the bandwidth to create, but then also to, kind of, how do I put this? Allow for other people to do their jobs, in the sense of, if I hired someone to do something, I can't step in and say, okay, well, I can help and assist here and X, Y, and Z. So I really had to delegate a lot more. I think that's a better word for it. And then also making sure that you use your money wisely, right? If you have some type of budget, whether it's loans that you take out, or whether it's, money that you've saved up, or whether you've partnered with, a distribution that has some type of like marketing budget allocated towards it. You have to make sure that you really look at the dollars and see what's the ROI on on the money that you're spending. And it's not like you're, throwing money into a pit of fire. You see where the money makes you money, and then you double down on that. And I think that's the only way to scale within independent music, is to make sure you find out where your strong suits are, and you make those people or those companies champions of yours. And so it becomes a reciprocal relationship at the end of the day. And so I think that the challenges are met by intrigue. You can't ever take it as a loss. It's a lesson. And you just got to keep going, putting one foot in front of the other every day.
That's what's up. Now, how would you say growing up in the DC, Maryland area prepared you for your career in the entertainment industry?
I will say this, like DC has a very like entrepreneurial spirit. So like growing up, we didn't dress in like polo and Nike. Like we dressed in like hobo and shooters, and we are one. Those are DC made brands. You know what I mean? And we put money into that. And we wore that on our backs with pride. We would go to other cities, you know what I mean? Like thinking like we the freshest thing, you know what I mean? Like walking. And but that's the pride that we had, and we weren't afraid to put our dollars back into our community. And a community that supported us. And so I think DC has always been on that tip, whether DEI was a thing or not. It was more so the fact that, we always was inclusive within our community, and we always supported that. So that's why I love DC to this day, because I feel like it's either my number one or my number two best market. Whenever I come into the city, they always show love. They always, sell out whatever venue that I do. And so, I think that is amazing, especially from a hometown love.
All right, now I wasn't even going there, but you said it, so I'm getting into it. Talk about DEI. Let's jump into it. Your thoughts.
I feel like we have the power to continue to put dollars back into our own community, and we have to be more intentional about looking at brands and companies that are of color, for us to be patrons of. I think it's easy for us to go into kind of like mainstream markets and purchase things, because it is easy. We don't have to think much about it. But I think now we see that some of those industries don't really care about our dollars, let alone our lives. And so I know for me, I'm not going to continue to be a customer or a patron of brands and companies that don't care about me or people that look like me. So we just have to be really intentional. You know what I mean? Like, instead of spending some of that time just watching reels and laughing, or, all that stuff, we need to be doing research on how we can stay a close knit community and support one another, because we got money to spend. There's no doubt about that. It's just where we spend it that's most important. So, yeah, I just think we just have to be intentional about it, regardless of whatever companies have rolled back DEI. I don't think we should be offended by that when we have so many different brands that we can support.
Well spoken. Valentine's Day is coming up.
Yeah.
What is the ideal perfect date for Kevin Ross?
Oh man, the perfect date for me involves food. It involves true relaxation. I do not want to work. I do not want to work for nothing. I want to be able to enjoy, that young lady's company. You know what I'm saying? For us to have good conversation, and we end the night on a high note. You know what I mean? And I think that's the perfect Valentine's Day date for me.
All right, now you've worked with your fair share of amazing artists. Who are some other artists that are on your list if you've ever would be given the opportunity to work with?
Stevie Wonder. I mean, obviously, you know what I mean. That's one that I haven't worked with yet, and then everybody else kind of falls under that. It's like, I'm definitely shooting for the moon, and whatever stars I land on, you know what I mean. If it ain't Stevie, then you know. But I work with some really cool people. I work with David Foster, Diane Warren, Babyface, just like the legends and the OGs to, even some new folk. Like, having some stuff on Kiana Day's recent project that came out in October, Kodak Black's last project. Like stuff like that. Like things that you wouldn't normally think I would be a part of. You know what I mean? Like I got my hands in. So yeah, it's pretty cool. But outside of Stevie Wonder, I don't have any other people on the list.
All right, now you're certainly not new to this industry by any means. What would you say that you've evolved from the time that you started up until now, and in what ways is that?
Um, I've evolved into a person who has more vision. I think coming into the game, I was okay with just going with the flow of things, of just being a singer songwriter. And then I evolved to being a singer songwriter producer, and then a singer songwriter producer label owner. And so, every couple of years, I add another like hyphenate to my arsenal. And so now I think I've evolved into kind of an artist advocate, and then understanding where I sit within the genre of R&B, the influence that I have in the sense of in the space of indie R&B. um yeah, so I think that I've evolved into more of a leadership position. um and yeah, I feel like I have to kind of speak my piece on certain things as it relates to the genre, as it relates to, just kind of the indie space. Because if we don't kind of claim ownership of it, I feel like, R&B can go into a really bad direction and become a really obscure art form. And I don't want it like that. And so I'm gonna do everything in my power, to see fit that R&B continues to grow and to scale and to thrive.
So now, with the Love Uptempo tour soon approaching here,
That's right, starting in March. Yeah.
tell us what your most memorable tour experience has been.
Oh my gosh. I think opening up for Maxwell was definitely my most memorable experience because that was my first tour ever. So I went from, working every couple of months to like working, 4 or 5 times a week. And I mean, we were roughing it. We was like in a church van, like 6 or 7 of us, like sleeping in one hotel room, head to foot, sleeping on the floor. Some people sleeping in the van. Maxwell had like 3 tour buses. He owned all his backline. He was always fascinated by like my struggle. He was just like, oh my gosh, man, like this dude's like ironing his clothes. Like that's so crazy. Like it was blowing his mind. Then like I think another time, like one of his tour buses like caught on fire. And I'm like, yo, that's crazy. So everybody walked outside and here he is in a hoodie, like filming it, like, man, that's crazy. I was like, dude, like one of your tour buses is on fire and you sitting out here filming it like it's nothing. But that was really, really cool as far as just kind of that was my introduction into like the touring world and what my future could be if I stay focused. And so shout out to Maxwell, shout out to everybody that I've been on tour with. But yeah, that was probably my most memorable for sure.
Awesome. Now, what advice, if any, could you give to someone who's interested in breaking into the industry as a songwriter?
Hmm. Now it's changed a lot. What I will say is that as a songwriter, you are still a brand. You cannot be this like mystery person, like that's just in the dark and some like dark silhouette and you just being dope. It's like you have to be more than dope. You literally have to market yourself and promote yourself as if you were an artist, to be honest. So, if you feel like it's any less work, as it pertains to being a writer versus being an artist and be like, yeah, I don't want the spotlight. Yeah, you're gonna have to get a little bit of light on you. And you have to definitely put out a lot of sweat equity in order for people to see you. You know, thank God for social media where you could put some of your work up online. You could put some of your work up on IG and on TikTok, and for you to develop a community to be like, man, that's dope. You know, if you build enough community, you'd be like, hey, make sure you tag this particular artist and be more intentional about making a brand for yourself versus waiting for some publishing company to find you or some manager to validate you. You have to be that brand, and that's something that will allow for you to last much longer within this music industry than just somebody finding you and making you into something. So that's my best advice: be the brand that you know that you can be.
Awesome. So, I mean, I know we got a new rollout of things coming and you got a lot on your plate as far as that goes. What else are you working on? What else can we be looking forward to from you?
Outside of Love Up Tempo, March 28th, the Love Up Tempo store that the Love Up Tempo tour that starts in March. Just be on the lookout for me, writing more stuff, collaborating with more artists and collaborating with more brands, more visuals. Yeah, I think it's gonna be some interesting stuff as far as 2025, like things that I've been intentional about, and then things that God will surprise me with. And so, nonetheless, it's going to be entertaining.
I love that. Well, thank you so much. I don't have anything else, but I took a listen of my own already to Love Up Tempo, and I'm enjoying it. So I look forward to the rest of the world being able to enjoy it. It's definitely a vibe. So thank you for that body of music and your work, and continue to do you because we love your music.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Thank you so much.
All right. Peace.
Bye bye.